All right, Chicago, we are back here on NHL 23 with your Blackhawks, of course, here in franchise mode. We are currently in the midst of the 2028-2029 NHL season, sporting a record of 27-9-3, so a great start to the year for us. And yeah, it's time to get this season done with and look forward to our next playoff run, which I assume we're going to make the playoffs with this kind of record. It would be hard for us to choke that away. So, yeah, there isn't too much to say about that. Now, I want to take a look, show you guys here with our contract situation. So, of course, we have about $9 million in cap space. Which wouldn't be enough to sign Lenny at the moment, but one guy we can sign, and that we need to sign, is Timothy Leonov right here. So Leonov, he has 31 points in 39 games there on that second line. He's doing pretty good so far, and I think I want to try to bet on him. Now, I know it's probably going to, slow him down a little bit, but I think this contract right here, $475 for 8 years, he's only 20 years old. I feel like he's going to get that jump in the offseason up to like an 86, 87, and he'll continue to grow. I think this will be a great contract for us in the future. It's a bit of a riskier one. I think this is the biggest risky contract that I've had, either him or Natchez, given the term and the amount of money. But I think this will work out well for us. Now, of course, obviously you're thinking, well, what are we going to do about Lenny? So I'm thinking at the draft, we trade at least one of UC Saros, depending on how he plays, and or Shea Theodore. Now, Theodore, as much as I would love to keep him around, I think it would make sense to keep Lenny over him based on age and potential. And obviously, he is getting older. We've already seen regression from him this past season. So we would want to cash out on him at his whatever his max value would be at this point. So he's not going to get any. Yeah, so he's obviously a decline in production playing on that second pairing. He's probably going to be down to like an 85, maybe even 84. So he's not going to have too much value left. We might as well get a little bit for him because after next year, he is a free agent. So, and he has been great for us. Been very serviceable on that top pairing, 60, 65, and 55 points respectively. He's been a heavy plus-minus player. And in the playoffs last year, he was a point per game. So, he's been excellent for us in his pretty short tenure. But we do have other defensemen coming up. Of course, Korchinski has taken a huge step forward this year. He's almost point per game. So I'm thinking he can be that top offensive defenseman for us. And then his partner, Axel Sandin-Pellikka, has been great himself. Plus 24, 23 points as a two-way is very good production. Looks like he's going to have a career year if he keeps up that production. So, yeah, it's just time to move on. Kasparaitis is an interesting one. If he doesn't get a jump in the offseason, I mean, it's not that I want to trade him because he's been decent for us, but I need him to get that jump. I know he was obviously being a fourth-round pick. He was already a steal, and we knew that from the beginning, but I was hoping that he can maybe be like a solidified top four defenseman for us. So we'll have to see what happens with him. But as far as the team right now, I think we're good to sim up to the trade deadline, and then we'll sim to the end of the year in this episode. And yeah, next episode we'll be gearing up for another playoff run. So the deadline's going to be interesting because 2 years ago, I made a couple moves. It didn't work out. He actually declined that offer, so we're going to have to give him a little bit more money here. But what I was saying was 2 years ago, we made moves at the deadline. Didn't work out for us. Last year, we didn't make any moves, and it still didn't work out for us. So I don't think it matters too much whether we make a move or not. It's just you have got to be shitting me. Literally a few days. Okay, well, that isn't going to happen. That completely changes everything. I thought he would just sign for that. I guess we didn't offer him enough, but wow, that is a huge difference right there. So we'll have to come back to that in the offseason because I don't want to pay either of those guys what they're asking for at the moment. Lenny maybe, but I want to see if I can get it cheaper at some point. So we'll get up to the deadline here. That actually makes the offseason a lot more interesting because Leonov wants to get paid, and he's definitely not getting that much money. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, obviously 34-12-3 now. It's looking like we're going to be a playoff team. We've struggled a little bit here in the last month and a half, but Yeah, you're gonna have that throughout the season. We had that crazy winning streak at the end of last episode. I actually want to see how many games that was. So let's wait for these games to go through. And up against Philly, we'll slow sim this one just to have our solidified record going into the deadline. First period, 2-1 Philly. Tuck and Domi for them. Pelika for us. Shorthanded, actually. Shots are 8-13 in our favor. Second period, all right, 3-2. Buchnevich for them and Natchez for us. Third period, can we come back? We cannot. DeBrincat gets one for us, but Buchnevich again and Salem. So, wow, that was a great attempt right there, but Salamonson, that is not right at all. But that dude scored for them, and we actually, wow, Carter Hart made 46 saves, so we just could not score on him. I'm not even going to blame the offense at that point. So 40, 17, and 4, obviously a very solid record. I don't know if that is President's Trophy contending, and we actually are first in the NHL, so that is great to see. Bedard still leading the way there with 66 points. We'll take a look at the stats here really quickly. Forward-wise, Bedard 66, Natchez 62, and Lenny 60. Yeah, he wants to get paid. And look at Leonov, 30 goals, 52 points. He also wants to get paid. So that might be problematic for us. DeBrincat only 52, which isn't bad, but a bit down for his type of production. So we'll have to watch that as well. Maybe consider moving Lenny up to that first line. So we'll keep an eye on that. I mean, it would make sense for chemistry, power forward, playmaker, and sniper. And he actually is well-suited for that first line. And DeBrincat is well-suited for that. Let's take a look at the chemistry here. We might actually want to make this move. And we can do the trial run at the end of the year here and see how that works out for us. So yeah, that'd give us double +5. So I think I am going to do that. You could argue we should have done that from the start, but we're going to try that out at the moment. And then that'll put Leonov with Natchez and DeBrincat. So maybe DeBrincat will take a couple goals away from Leonov, but I mean, already 30 goals up to this point. That is already a career high. So Leonov has definitely been the right choice for that second line. And then we can hop back into the stats here to take a look at the rest of the team. But yeah, great seasons from Lenny and Leonov there. So, and then Catone only 51 on that first line as well. So, I mean, that's still solid, though, so I'll just keep it like that. I'll keep him on the top line, and we'll move Lenny up. And then Caswell on the third line, 32, isn't bad. They are a minus, though, which is kind of concerning, but I mean, there's nothing that's going to be our third line, just overall base potential base. And then fourth line's actually doing really good. Porshkov has 19 points on that fourth line, which is a great production. De Silva with 15, and McAllister. So they've held their own. I mean, they're all, they're not the greatest overalls there, and they're very young. So that kid line has been good for us. Defensively, Korchinski's still up there in points, 55 points in 61 games for him. He has already surpassed his career best from actually 2 seasons ago with 48. So a great season from him, obviously. Pelika, 34, has been very solid as well. And Shea Theodore still putting up numbers on that second pairing, 33. Kasparaitis with only 12. I mean, I know he's a two-way defender, so actually he is offensive. So that is interesting there. We'll see if that affects his growth at all. Morrow with 8 and Roos with 5. So they haven't been incredible together. Definitely not as good as what Seth Jones was doing. But, I mean, that was a huge loss for him. He still was a good player for us. But definitely could not pay him that amount of money. And then Saros only at a 908 is a little concerning. But that actually might not even be too bad compared to where the league is at with how scoring has been. And we'll take a look at that. And yeah, all of our rookies there on the fourth line. We'll actually take a look at that really quickly with the league leaders. So for forwards, Jack Eichel still leading the way, 77 points. McDavid, so the 2015 draft showing out right there. And then the first pick for 2016, Austin Matthews with 74 points. Svechnikov, 74. Teravainen, 74. Pettersson, 73. And then among others, as you can see down here, you can see some of the youth right here. Marco Kasper, Adam Fantilli, and Connor Bedard putting up points right there. Man, Bedard's still only 23. And we have him locked up for the next 6 years still. So that is good to see. And then goals-wise, wow, David Pastrnak, already 47 goals, 63 games in. That is incredible pace for him. He might hit 60 this year. So we'll have to watch out for that as well. Defensively, Miro Heiskanen, Korchinski, Adam Fox, and Kale McCarr are all tied at 55. So Korchinski is still going to be in there for the Norris, and he leads in plus-minus, which usually has an effect on awards. So that is that'd be cool to see him win it. He does still have games. Well, not with McCarr, but with Adam Fox and Haskin, he's got games on them. And then still right down here, Chychrun, 54, Slavin, 54, Quinn Hughes, 52, the leader from last year. I mean, you could argue that it's crazy how he went from 61 points to 95. I mean, he had 83 down here too, but Quinn Hughes has just had an excellent career, and then his first year in Seattle was incredible, 95 points. So it's been a good, I mean, that's the kind of pace that we need for $15.5 million. So you can argue he hasn't been having a great year for his standards, a -8, but it's incredible that that's his bar. And then how about Philip Hronek up to an 88, 51 points there for Vancouver. And then goals leaders for defensemen, Hamilton with 17, Chychrun with 17, Haskin with 14, and this guy, Shai Buium with 13. Looks like he's a real prospect since he's undrafted. He must have been created. So, and I think I mentioned this in one of the first episodes. I am using a custom roster, just one of the top rosters from the PS5 roster sharing community. So this is the one I felt was the most accurate. And so I think it was I think his name's like Canadian G or Canadian E. So yeah, go download his roster. It's pretty good. So goalies, wins later, 34 for Saros, which is good to see. And then, but I wanted to check save percentage just to see where we're at. So for starters, Askarov is actually having a great year in there in Colorado, a .919 save percentage. So you almost wonder if we traded for the right goalie. Because look at this. Well, okay, he's only had a small sample size, but then when he starts in Colorado, he's been good. So we could have made the wrong decision there. That was the guy they were giving up to, so that's kind of funny. Vanacek 919, Vasilevsky 919. Okay, so yeah, they're still on like the the teens for the 900 save percentage. So it is a bit down for Saros to be only at a 908. That's like mid-table, maybe even like lower end of starters save percentage. So that is something to watch. If he can turn it on in the playoffs, so that is all that really matters for us. And then what was I didn't really pay attention to what Smith was doing. Let me see what he's at. Smith is at a 907, so nothing crazy from him either. So we might look to target another goalie just in case for this this playoff run, just to give us another option, because who do we have in the AHL? Let's take a look here. I don't remember. We have, oh yeah, Lindbaum, who has been pretty bad there in the AHL, and only 13 wins. They must not, yeah, they are trash. But with that bottom six, I'm not surprised. However, some of our prospects doing, though, they're not doing bad. This guy, Barry, 43 points is actually very solid. So, and he's one of those low elites. Wow, 73. He's already 21, though, so he's got to have a huge jump here soon. 72 at 20 for Olsen. And then 73 at 21 once again. So, I mean, if those guys can get a jump in overall, and this guy has 38 points this year, he's playing good. So that actually might happen for them. But yeah, they're going to need that soon if they want to make the team here. And then, yeah, so there is all that. So yeah, I'm thinking we want to at least try to target a goalie. And then I'm not opposed to making a trade, but I'm also not opposed to leaving the team the same besides that. As far as maybe a left defenseman on the bottom pair here. Roos hasn't been, incredible this year. So maybe somebody to pair with Scott Morrow there. So yeah, I think, excuse me, I think that is what we'll target here at the deadline. And so we'll keep our current trade block, whatever that might be. We already know what we want to trade, if we want to trade anything. And Jamie Drysdale, the top trade target, 92 overall, offensive defenseman. He's got 46 points in 62 games. And actually, Trevor Zegras is also here for the Ducks. So they are looking to completely tear down their team. Soderstrom is here. Peyton Krebs is here. There's a lot of talent here in the trade deadline. And Wyatt Johnston actually was never signed by Dallas. So that is interesting to see from them. Same thing with Smirnoff in Detroit. Nick Watt, yeah, look at all this talent here at the trade deadline. A lot of these guys aren't even signed. They're RFAs that never got signed. Are those the only players available? Why can't I? Oh, there we go. All right, wouldn't let me scroll at first. And yeah, Troy Terry's here for the Ducks. They're just completely tearing down their team. So let's see. Drew Camesso is there. Wow, he's actually, okay, he's only a backup though, 15 games, but he's actually having a good year as a backup. But making that amount of money, I don't know if you want to have him as your backup. So let me just look for goalies first. There is, okay, I hate that. Anytime there's a trade, you have to get kicked right to the front. Who are we looking at here? I saw somebody else. Oh, it was Sebastian Cossa. Okay. He's actually a backup there in Detroit. He actually might not be a bad guy to target. He doesn't have too crazy value. Let me see what he's looking like. Does he have any X factors himself? He does not. Okay. What has he done in his career? So he hasn't ever been the starter, but he's been up and down. Okay. And then what do we have to trade them? Let's see if any of our prospects here. Petit actually is up to an 80. Wasn't he at like a 60 something like a year ago? He was like a 61 out of the draft. Wow, he's going to be ready for next year. That is crazy development from Petit. He's killing it there in the queue. Wow, that is great to see. Some of our other medium elites are here. I think I want to hang on to those guys. But do we have like a lower end? Like this guy's only 57 at 20. And he is... I don't think he's going to develop at all. So we might want to move on from him. And then Moen is killing it with Kelowna. So I want to hang on to him. Wow. And then, 22 is only 62. He's in the AHL. I mean, I might as well just keep him there because he's playing for our team. But yeah, like how close is that value with Turikov? So that's pretty close. Detroit would have too few goalies. Okay, we can give you one. Shit, do you guys want it? This guy, he's not signed, but okay, it has to be a signed goalie, it looks like. Can we just not trade our other guy? I mean, I can trade Lindbaum. I don't really... Our AHL team is shit anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but we could do something like this. Because I'd rather keep our draft picks and get rid of this guy. Who do they want, by the way, actually? Let me see if they want anybody. Okay, they want NHL players, so we're not going to do that. But I know they're a contending team, but they want to give him up. So, I mean, yeah, they can use Hunter Jones as their backup. He's been great in the AHL. Wow, a 920. He might win the goalie of the year there, whatever the award is called there. But, I mean, they want to give him up, so I'm not going to... just back out. So I think I'll offer this to them. And then just a safety net, let me just add a pick. I'm kind of just being stingy here, but why the hell not at this point? So fourth added there. They say no. Let me just try straight up because I don't even know. Okay, so that doesn't go through. And then I can add a pick at this point unless there is like a lower end prospect. Okay, we could add one of these guys, like a low 6 and a low 4. I'd be willing to do that. Okay, we don't need to give up that much, I guess. How about just the low 4? Yep. So that is a done deal. We could trade a couple of lower-end prospects and Lindbaum for Sebastian Cossa. The only thing I didn't think about is, do we have enough cap space to call him up? And it looks... Okay, they have him listed in the NHL, so that is good to see. And I don't know, with us not trading an NHL player, that shouldn't mess up our lines, right? I know we added an NHL player, but I think the lines will be fine. But yeah, that is this reminded me. Petit, I know I kind of just jumped to another thought completely, like, out of nowhere, but Petit is up to an 80, which is great. He should be ready for the show next year, if not first line AHL, but he's already listed as a minor checking forward. Yeah, he's going to be... He's like your old school power forward, 6'3", 210. He's got crease crasher, truculence, and big tippers. So, watch out for him. So you might, if we take a look at our forward core, obviously these three are going to be there. See, now we start to wonder with Alex DeBrincat's age. He's been good for us, no doubt. But with the youth coming in, do we go with the youth? He's making a shit ton of money, $10 million, and he's almost up. And we're going to have to sign some guys soon. Is there anybody big up in 2 years? Not really. I mean, Silva could jump. The Green shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then Saros is up in 3, if we even hold on to him. So I guess DeBrincat's window is perfect for us. Besides, obviously, we have to sign Leonov and Lenny this year. But we already established who we want to trade, as that being Theodore and Saros. So at least one of them we would probably have to trade at that point. But I mean, DeBrincat might want to start playing his ass off, because considering his age, he might not be favored. And even Nate Chess, who he's been great for us though. Almost he's been over point per game, and DeBrincat has been just about there. So it's gonna be a battle for those two, because if we start having these young guys come up that we need to pay, we might want to favor them over DeBrincat and Nate Chess just because of the age and just team success down the road. We got to think about, of course, too. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of big decisions to come in the next couple years. And the good thing is, though, we have most of our core locked up. Like Bedard the next 6 years, Catone the next 8, Korchinski 7. Caswell, if we need to keep him, he's got 8 years left at a very movable contract, even if we don't want to keep him. So yeah, there is. And then do we have anybody that is on extension? No, because it's just Leonov and Lenny that are up this year. So yeah, we'll have to see that. And even Nazar, who's been very solid for us, he's making a bit of money for that third line, because we were thinking he might jump up to that second line. However, with the players we've been playing, but still a serviceable third liner for us, who's locked up for a good contract at a good overall. So that is also good. All right, so we got our backup goalie for us now, and then I think now we just want to look for a third pairing defenseman on that left side. So let me scroll down a little bit here, like an 83. This guy is not signed, left winger. There's a Michael Matheson. He's making too much money though. I need somebody on like a rookie deal almost, because of our tight cap space situation right now. And then they can only be for 1 year too, obviously. Let me see. Uyghur is making way too much money. Lauzon is 1.6. Did we have him before? I can't remember. Asa Lindell's making $5 million. No thank. Let's see. Is there anybody? This guy is. Oh, he's a 74. Never mind. Let me scroll back up here. There was Lucas Cormier there from the Vegas Golden Knights, who wasn't making that much money. These are all forwards. Riley's making too much money. Gavrikov, too much money. And then, yeah, Lucas Cormier. Let's take a look at him real quick. He's got a little bit of value to him, but I don't mind that. 26 years old. He's a left defenseman, offensive. It says he's defensive pairing 1, though, so I figure just the way the chemistry usually works, the third pairing would be his least favored. Maybe I'll have to manually go ahead and look for a third pairing defenseman here. There is Adam Juracek, who is a right and left D. He's only 22. He could be a solid guy for us. He can, maybe we can target this guy, because he's versatile. He can play both sides, and he's only 22 years old, top 4. He could get some growth in there as well. And then I don't think we have too many defensive prospects. Okay, we have a couple. Okay, we have a few medium elites, actually, but besides that, because those guys might not work out, and they are a few years away, so this actually might be somebody we want to target. So I don't want to trade any of these medium elites, obviously. Pacioretty, they want a low 6. He has gotten some good growth, but that low 6 potential is pretty shit in this game, so we will look to trade him. I don't really want to use this elite goalie in this trade, and he's honestly our only goalie prospect, so we might even want to hang on to him depending on how he grows as well. But we have a ton of picks, so I wouldn't mind trading like a third. Will that go through? Trading a third? Okay, no. How about a third? How about a better third, like Vancouver's third? Does that make any difference? Okay, it does actually, so good thing I did that instead of adding. So we trade a B-level prospect and a third for a young defenseman who could develop for us and hopefully will help us out this year as well. Juracek, yeah, 81 at 22. Yeah, he's looking to be pretty good for us. And then, wow, Arizona is shit. 18-35-9 is horrible. As I'm just kind of taking a look at records, there's a lot of teams that are have at least 30 wins on the year, so it's been Yeah, and then you got teams like Arizona, Minnesota who don't even have 20, so there's your parity right there. How's Dallas doing this year, by the way? I know they didn't have Johnston signed. They're still doing good. And then Colorado, they're still doing good. And I know the New York teams have been dominating the cup run. So, okay, the Rangers are only 500, and the Islanders are still doing good there. So that is something to watch, I would say. So yeah, I think we are all set at the deadline here. I don't think we need to make any more moves. We got what we needed. So let us exit here. And then big trades here. Soderstrom did get dealt to Washington along with the 5th and the 6th for Brigley, and I'm going to assume that's Malcolm Spence. So big trade there. Tomas Hertl, Braden Coe, a 3rd and a 6th for Hampus Lindholm, Mischenko, and a 7th. Wow, that is actually a pretty big trade between those two teams. Drew Commesso gets dealt to Anaheim and 2 seconds for Trevor Zegras and Jake Evans. That is definitely a fleecing by Pittsburgh. My God. I don't know what Anaheim is doing. Excuse me. Jason Zucker's getting paid $3 million as a 79. We are definitely not going to take him on. So let me see if any of the NHL lines got messed with. And, okay, they did. It looks like a little bit because, yeah. All right, let me go ahead and fix these real quick. De Silva there, Porshkov. Yep, that's how we had it. And then put that there. And then, no. We're going to put, and then let's see there, Juracek. Let's see if he slots in here at all. Damn, it's a -1. So that is a bit unfortunate. I'm going to give it a shot, though. We'll see how that goes. At least in the slow sim, I don't think it matters, the chemistry, so when we get to the playoffs, it shouldn't affect it too much. But yeah, they do have Costa in there as well. And then scratches of Roos and Smith. So yeah, and then AHL's probably all fucked up too, but I honestly don't give a shit, to be honest. I should probably take more care for the AHL, but at least for this season they're done anyways, so and then I can edit the power play here a little bit. Pelika needs to be swapped for Korchinski. Theodore can go down there for... Yeah, I think I'll give DeBrincat some more power play time to end the year. So I'll set it up like that. And then Nate Jass can lead that second group with... Leonov definitely has to be. Actually, I might want to put Leonov on the first pair power play. Excuse me. And so I completely lied about DeBrincat. He'll go back down there to the second. I'm good with that. And then I'll just let the computer decide for the rest of that. Our guys are getting enough ice time regardless, so yeah, I think we will get to the end of the season here because... and the line shouldn't really affect us too much anyway. We should be a good team regardless as we are right now. So let's get to the end of the year. We'll see how Costa does. We'll see how Juracek does. Of course, as well as other players, but... we want to watch our new acquisitions. And first game, we get shelled by the Ducks, who just traded Trevor Zegras 7-4. And yep, as I expected, we're off to a rough start after the deadline. But, okay, picking it. Wow, we're scoring a lot of goals right now. Holy shit. 8 goals in 2 games. Okay, yeah, there we go. Holy hell, look at these goals. We're consistently putting up like 7-8 goals. That is crazy. So we actually, well, we've got 3 games left. And we win all of them. Yeah, so a great end of the season for us. 117 points, which gives us the President's Trophy by a mile, which is good to see, but I'm also skeptical. But for now, we can celebrate that. Connor Bedard, what a season. 96 points, 52 goals, career highs for him right there. As we will take a look at the stats. So yeah, Bedard, obviously a career year for him. Last year was a career year as well, so he's just climbing the ranks as he gets older. Of course, still only 23 years old. Yeah, I mean, he is one of those guys now, for sure. And then Nate Jess, another point per game season for him. How about Timothy Leonov? 76 points, 44 goals. No question, he's ready for that top 6 role now. And we are definitely going to have to pay this man. Holy hell. DeBrincat was 75, solid on that first and second line for him. Lenny 73. Looks like he actually dipped in production a little bit playing on that first line, but yes, it looks like that second line starting to take over there at the end of the year. Catone, only 64 points on that first line is a big decrease from last year. That is concerning to see. But, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. We might want to move Leonov up for the playoffs. Caswell, 50 points on that third line. A great year from him. So, nothing else to say about that. 50 points is great for a third line role. Green 30 and Nazar 28 solid on that third line. And then the fourth line, they were all in the minus, but they all had decent production, so I will definitely take that. Of course, them being all rookies, they're going to make some mistakes. So there is that. And then how about this? Kevin Korchinski, 74 points. I don't know. I assume there's probably going to be a defenseman with more points than him, but given his plus-minus, he should have a chance at that Norris Trophy. But yeah, 74 points is a great season from him. I think that's higher than what Theodore ever got, right? Yeah, because 65 was his personal best. So Korchinski is definitely ready for that number one defenseman role. Pellica, 52 on that top pair. Another great year from him. He has just been improving since he's got on this main roster. So good to see from him. We just signed him to that contract as well. But Theodore, yeah, still 50 points on that second pair, which is actually only 5 points less than last year. So good to see from him. Kasparaitis, 18 points. Hopefully he can get that jump finally. And then Morrow with 13. And Juracek, okay, he was a +7 in 21 games. So those two did well together despite the -1. So that is good to see. And then another big question for us, goaltending. So Saros stayed at a 908, but Kosa's up to a 930, which is an improvement from, wow, he was a 930 for us. In 5 games, he was 4-1. So, yeah, Saros, you better... I'm going to have a short leash with you. I'll be completely honest with you. You better turn it up in the playoffs. Otherwise, I'm going to go with Sebastian Costa there as our starters. So that is good to see. We can take a look around the league as well. See who the top scorers were for this year. And, okay, so McDavid with 98 as well as Eichel. And Bedard was right there with 96. Draisaitl 93, Matthews 93, Pettersson 91, among others. And then did Pasternak get 60 goals this year? No, wow, he only had 51. So his production trailed off by a mile. And Bedard missed the Rocket Richard by a single goal. Draisaitl will take it home this year with 53. But he should be in the running for... MVP, and look at that, he has the highest plus-minus besides Kucherov on this list, so Bedard could potentially be the Hart winner this year based on how the awards go in this game, so that will be interesting to watch. Defensively, yep, Korchinski missed it by 2 points, but again, he led in plus-minus by a lot, honestly, on the screen. I mean, but Makar was pretty close, but Korchinski definitely had the plus-minus, the most plus-minus, I should say, as a defenseman here. So he could also be in running for that Norris Trophy. Chychrun was 70, Heiskanen 69, Gerard 68 on Tampa now. Great year from him. And then Quinn Hughes only 67 points this year. I know only is kind of an understatement, but or that doesn't make sense. So you guys, you know what I mean. 67 points after having 95 last year is definitely a big decrease. But yeah, it's Quinn Hughes. He should bounce back regardless. And then goaltending-wise, of course, Saros led the league in wins, but definitely not in save percentage. Among starters, that is going to go to Stuart Skinner with a .922 save percentage now in Ottawa. Didn't he have a big... Oh, no, I guess it was this year because, yeah, the other years he wasn't great. I mean, this year is pretty good, but under 910 for these years right here. So, yeah, he'll probably take home the Vezina in convincing fashion there. And then rookie skaters... wow, pretty weak class this year. This guy for Washington with 41. And then besides that, I mean, Luke Misa, Michael Misa's brother with 30 points, but he's already 23. So, yeah, not a very good rookie class in terms of skaters. How about goalies, though? Was there any Carl Lindbein? Is that the guy we traded? Yeah. He got 3 games in there. He actually played really well for Detroit. But, oh, there was a guy with 60 games there. So he actually might come away with the Calder. He was actually pretty solid, 918. He would have been right up there in the save percentage. So the Blues may have found the goalie of the future there. So there is around the league as well. And I can't tell immediately who we holy hell. Oh no, looks like it's going to be Seattle, right? Because we have the top seed, so we should play Seattle. Yep. So that kind of sucks that our last game was against them, so it would be a little confusing. But we're going against Quinn Hughes and the Seattle Kraken. So Quinn Hughes obviously a down year in the regular season, but that does not mean anything for the playoffs. So that is pretty scary. Wow. What a forward core to start off with. Chauvin, Wright, and Kevin. Okay, it's actually not as good as I thought, but the center depth is there. Wright and Beniers, obviously. McCann's still here. They have Gruel. Tolvanen still here with Johnson and McLeod. And then fourth line, Luke Misa, who was up there in rookie scoring. Excuse me, Jagger Furcus is still there, and Emilio Arventi is there as well. Defensively, of course, we know Quinn Hughes is there. And then, they also had this Buium or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. I think he was, or was he on the trade block? I don't know, something like that. So that is actually not a great defensive pair. Obviously, Quinn Hughes a 96, but he's like 85 and 84 isn't bad, but he is carrying that defensive unit right there. And then in goal, they have Nico Dawes, okay, who did not... Oh, he actually did have a good year this year. 914 save percentage is very solid. And then with Jurenko backing him up there as well, as they have Levis, Sutter, and Duclair scratched. So yeah, Seattle, they're looking like a pretty good team for us. I mean, definitely a beatable team. We are definitely better in every category, I would say. Maybe not goaltending with the way Saros has played, but yeah, definitely a team we should be able to beat. And I'm just hoping we can make a run, man. I mean, I think we've had enough. Obviously, Chicago has had to pay their dues with having all that success and everything, but I think we've definitely paid our dues at this point. 4 years of disappointment. I know it doesn't technically make up for the decade that we dominated, but yeah, I'm just hoping we can make that run. Obviously, we still see Dallas and Colorado, who have been our rivals in this series, are in the playoffs as well, so we'll have to watch out for them. And you can see all the playoff teams right there. Actually, neither... Oh, no, the Islanders are right there. But the Rangers did not make the playoffs there, so they won't be in contention for one of the New York teams to be in the Stanley Cup final. But yeah, so our main focus is Seattle. They did not have a good end of the season either, so I think we should definitely win this series. And yeah, and we need to make a cup run, man. It's been too long for us. This team is too good to not have at least a run at the Stanley Cup, if not a Stanley Cup in our trophy case. So that is going to be the end of this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching once again. I'll probably say this in every video at this point, but support has been absolutely incredible. The consistency in views and likes and interactions has been great. If you guys wouldn't mind just leaving a comment down there, let me know you liked the video, and of course hit the like on the video as well if you feel so kind. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you guys take care.